Now to important business in Thornton Township, which hit a roadblock tonight, not because of the weather, not because of logistics, but because two trustees refused to show up.
You must show up to your scheduled board meetings. I don't care if you agree or disagree, but you must show up to say yes or no, or vote present.
In the small but politically charged suburb of Dolton, Illinois, Mayor Tiffany Henyard has found herself at the center of a swirling storm of controversy, accusations, and outright rebellion. This explosive situation has the entire township on edge as two of its trustees, Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle, have launched what can only be described as a full-scale revolt against Henyard's leadership. Their decision to boycott crucial township meetings has effectively paralyzed local governance, preventing any major decisions from being made, including the appointment of a new trustee to replace Jerry Jones, who resigned due to personal and health reasons.
Dawn and Scott, the meeting wrapped up early because two trustees, as you mentioned, did not show up, Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle. Without them, not enough board members were present to make official decisions.
The absence of Gonzalez and Carlisle at these meetings has left the township board without quorum, which means they can't even vote on the most basic issues, let alone something as significant as filling a board vacancy. But this isn't just a case of two people skipping work. No, their actions are part of a much larger and more dramatic power struggle that's been simmering beneath the surface for months. And now it's boiling over for all to see.
Their absence prevented Supervisor Tiffany Henyard from filing a vacancy on the board. So what is going on and why the power play?
Gonzalez and Carlisle have made it clear that their boycott is not just about missing a meeting or two. It's about what they see as a fundamental lack of transparency and accountability under Henyard's leadership. In their eyes, Henyard has turned the township into her personal playground, making decisions behind closed doors and pushing through an agenda that benefits her more than it serves the people of Thornton Township. Gonzalez didn't mince words when he explained his decision to skip the meeting, saying, "We're not going to be part of the circus. We just want to get some responsible adults." And Carlisle echoed this sentiment, stating, "Just because somebody is doing something doesn't mean progress is happening." For both trustees, the issue of appointing a new board member has become a flashpoint. They're concerned that Henyard's choice for the vacancy would be nothing more than a rubber stamp for her spending plans that they've criticized as reckless and self-serving. They want the process of filling the vacancy to involve the community, not just the board, and they're willing to grind township business to a halt to make their point.
I don't even like to use the term stopping the meeting. We just want to get some responsible adult, communication and try to do the right thing by the citizen.
But this isn't the first time Henyard has found herself at odds with her fellow board members. In fact, it's just the latest chapter in a long-running saga of dysfunction and discord that has plagued Thornton Township for months. Henyard's leadership style has been described as autocratic and chaotic, with accusations flying that she regularly disregards the input of the trustees and pushes her own agenda without proper oversight.
South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control of both governments.
And it's not just the trustees who are speaking out. Residents of Dolton and Thornton Township have grown increasingly vocal in their criticism of Henyard, accusing her of mismanaging taxpayer money and using her position to enrich herself and her allies. Rumors of financial improprieties have dogged her administration, with some speculating that her spending habits are not just reckless but downright illegal. And while Henyard has denied these accusations, the fact remains that the township is facing a serious financial crisis, with deficits piling up and essential services hanging in the balance.
Because somebody's doing something doesn't mean progress is happening, but we need to know that progress is actually being made and the best things are being done for Thornton Township.
One of the most damning accusations against Henyard is her alleged misuse of township funds for personal gain. Trustees Gonzalez and Carlisle have raised concerns about how the township's money is being spent, pointing specifically to the fact that bills aren't being openly reviewed, meaning residents have no way of knowing where their tax dollars are going. More troubling is the fact that the township hasn't even finalized a bank account to ensure financial stability, leaving a huge question mark over the township's fiscal future.
If the board do not show up, we are not able to pay bills. We are not able to handle the business.
Henyard's response to this growing opposition has been anything but conciliatory. In fact, she's doubled down, using platforms like Facebook Live to lash out at her critics and accuse them of trying to undermine her for their own political gain. During one particularly fiery broadcast, Henyard accused Gonzalez and Carlisle of causing gridlock in the township and suggested that their actions were part of a broader conspiracy to oust her from power. She's framed the conflict as a battle between her and a cabal of political enemies who are jealous of her success and determined to see her fail.
And Micah, tonight was a special board meeting because business has not gotten done at two previous meetings. So that's some progress there. But this meeting was not without its fair share of tension.
But if Henyard thought her aggressive tactics would silence her critics, she was sorely mistaken. Instead, the boycott has only intensified, with Gonzalez and Carlisle digging in their heels and showing no signs of backing down. They've made it clear that they're willing to continue their protest until Henyard starts answering their questions and addressing their concerns about transparency and fiscal responsibility. The stakes couldn't be higher. especially with the township elections just months away. April's elections could potentially reshape the entire leadership of Thornton Township, and both sides know it. Henyard's opponents are hoping that by stalling her agenda and exposing her alleged misdeeds, they can weaken her grip on power and pave the way for a new administration. But Henyard isn't going down without a fight. She's already started positioning herself for re-election, portraying herself as a fearless leader who's being unfairly targeted by a group of disgruntled trustees. Meanwhile, as this political drama plays out in Thornton Township, Henyard is facing battles on multiple fronts. In addition to her role as township supervisor, she's also the mayor of Dolton, a position that comes with its own set of controversies. Henyard's tenure as mayor has been marked by accusations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and even personal extravagance. Reports have surfaced alleging that she's used taxpayer money to fund lavish trips, expensive parties, and even personal security details. She's been accused of turning the village's police force into her own private army, with officers being assigned to protect her 24/7, even chauffeuring her daughter to school.
You are a clown. We will continue to speak out against wrongdoing. Why won't you step down?
One of the most bizarre claims against Henyard is that she once dressed up as a movie gangster, complete with a stuffed dog, at a village meeting, while a DJ played Rihanna's Be Better Have My Money in the background. Critics say this was just another example of Henyard's outlandish behavior and her penchant for theatrics over substance. But perhaps the most damaging blow to Henyard's reputation came when it was revealed that she and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, were facing eviction from their home in Dolton. According to their landlord, the couple hadn't paid rent since August, despite the fact that together they pull in over $300,000 a year in taxpayer-funded salaries. The landlord, who once considered Henyard a friend, said she was left with no choice but to file an eviction lawsuit after months of missed payments. To make matters worse, Henyard and Woods reportedly changed the locks on the house and the garage, preventing the landlord from gaining access.
A Dolton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants her.
This shocking turn of events has only added fuel to the fire for Henyard's critics, with many questioning how someone who can't even pay their own rent can be trusted to manage the finances of an entire township. One resident summed up the sentiment saying, "Should you be able to continue being the mayor when you don't even pay your bills to live in the city and are being evicted?" But despite all the scandals, Henyard remains defiant. She's vowed to continue her fight against what she calls the haters and insists that she's being unfairly targeted because of her success and her efforts to bring progress to Dolton and Thornton Township. In a recent Facebook post, Henyard announced that she would be running for re-election as mayor of Dolton, promising to continue fighting for my village for the next 4 years.
Henyard says she is endorsing a new board, but not announcing who they are just yet, instead promising to name them later this month. Henyard is under investigation by the FBI.
It's clear that Henyard isn't backing down anytime soon. And with the township elections just around the corner, the battle for Thornton Township is far from over. Both sides are gearing up for what promises to be a bitter and hard-fought campaign, with Henyard's opponents hoping to unseat her and put an end to what they see as her reign of chaos. But as the political drama unfolds, residents are left wondering what the future holds for their township. Will Henyard's opponents succeed in their efforts to derail her agenda and take back control of the board? Or will Henyard's defiance and determination see her through to another term in office? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, Thornton Township's political landscape will never be the same again. The real question now is whether Henyard's opponents can maintain their momentum and capitalize on the growing discontent among residents. In a recent YouTube video discussing the ongoing controversy, one commenter asked, "How is Tiffany not in jail or held accountable? If she had done this while working for a company, that company would have fired her immediately and sued her. Why are politicians not held responsible for their actions?" It's a sentiment shared by many in the community who feel that Henyard has been allowed to get away with too much for too long.
Henyard's landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and rent payments for months.
As the April elections draw closer, the pressure on Henyard is only going to intensify. Her opponents are likely to ramp up their efforts to expose her alleged financial misdeeds and paint her as a leader who's out of touch with the needs of her constituents. But Henyard has proven time and again that she's not one to go down without a fight. She's already framing the upcoming election as a referendum on her leadership, positioning herself as a champion of progress who's being unfairly targeted by a group of disgruntled insiders.
It's just getting to be redundant, and we're getting tired of coming here, not having the laws followed, not having a meeting.
In the end, the fate of Thornton Township will be decided not by the trustees or by Henyard herself, but by the residents who will head to the polls in April. It's a high-stakes showdown that could reshape the political landscape of the township for years to come. Will Henyard's defiance pay off, or will her critics finally succeed in bringing her down? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this wild political roller coaster.